might have expected to have a window where you could get around the corner. It's not panning out, though. Soju and Jira doing a great job here, getting favorable trades. Meanwhile, Apoc's been able to run up Catwalk. Right now, MVP having real struggles with this long defense. All right, then.
Well, Apoc was looking at CT, and then suddenly his head was removed, so that must have been one hell of a flick.
It didn't look like a natural movement, did it? This is the kind of thing that gives you whiplash. But Avant finding their stride here, finding the hole that they need to abuse, really, in MVP's CT side.
So here he is. He's checking CT spot.
Oh, that's dirty.
That is pure filth.
That is so dirty.
And I mean, one of the reasons why they did best 5 power is Sterling is going to get the opening pick. It's multiple players looking along, and they're all going to be put down. Avant looking like they're going to take the lead for the first time here on Dust 2, their choice of map. But it was Apoc who was one of the huge parts of the puzzle when they played 5 power. I think it was on Mirage, where he had a lights-out performance.
Absolutely. He's been the veteran they've needed and definitely come up clutch in multiple important situations, having a ton of impact frags, even in the games where he hasn't necessarily led the fragging. MVP right now, they have to, well, I don't think there's any question that they've recognized what the issue is, which is long control. Now you have to make the, I guess, decision whether or not you want to go off of spawn-based defense on the CT side, which I think is something that most teams should be adapting to, or if you just want to give up long completely or set up for multiple anti-flashes and push off of that instead of just trying to beat the T side to the corner.
They may even think about playing more of a passive defense too, on the likes of the car and trying to set up. But the problem there is, if a set play comes on short, you're leaving yourself very vulnerable to just being flashed and naded out of the round.
Yep.
Nice shot. That's pretty much all they got from the round, MVP. Just a couple kills. Avant now with the lead. As he's highlighted, it is long. That is the issue. They've got a good spawn for it as well. Soju may go for another peek.
It's time and time again. This time MVP are sending 4 players over, though.
Oh, yeah.
So, adjustment made.
If they can't hold it with 4, then they're in real trouble. And Soju...
I don't know. Yeah, Zion... This is weird. MVP, you have the correct read, right? And then now you're seeing them actually being abused in the way that you talked about as well, right? That long take comes in from Avant, but their main force is not really focused on that area at all. It's a catwalk hit that they want to focus on. They just want to have the disruption over towards long to spread the defense. And then you see as soon as they swing out wide, anyone who's standing by a car is so screwed on the CT side. But the thing that makes my head scratch is the fact that MVP are successfully getting guys down into pit, but they're not necessarily initiating the fight in the best ways. So you had Sign jumping up on the ledge for no good reason. Obviously makes him an easy target instead of just constantly giving the T's a headshot angle that they have to nail a shot on. And this time around, it's Sign not allowing for the pit player to actually start everything off, tell you where people are. Close-up player from Avant is definitely in a position where he could get picked off so easily. And if you're the Aussies and Kiwis right now, you have no reason to really go away from this. Anytime there's a buy round or you have a half-decent spawn towards long, just go back at it, see if you keep getting freebies.
Yeah, exactly. An MVP in the back of their mind will be very cognizant of, well, is this the round where they hit B? If we're constantly stacking 3 or 4 players, like eventually you'll start to doubt yourself. Stacks, solid shot on the cross, but it's just delaying the inevitable. The bomb can get retrieved and easily planted down. Looking for some exit frags. They're going to have a buy next round anyway. Is their first in. And first down. At least Zeta, though, will make it sting a little bit more. He wanted the AK, was just tantalizingly too far away.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't have changed the outcome of the round regardless, though. It would have been a nice little treat to bring into the next round. 7 rounds for Avant now, and they've not just gone for a run, they've really just started a spree here. Sterling done pretty well for himself to get into the game as well on the T side here with a couple of early picks towards long. They don't have the long spawn right now. At least not a good one. They have one player in Jira that could actually make it, but see if that's going to be enough. Still, they make it over to... Again, why is this the move? You've given up, what, 5, 6 opening kills on that corner now, at the very least.
Ooh, Stacks. Fortunate through the flashbang. Doesn't get counter-fragged either. There's no avenging blow in play. Not far off. Had the right idea. Flashbang comes in, and Zine this time has been dealt with accordingly. Zeta. They're peeking one by one. But fortunate that he missed the second shot. And meanwhile, on Catwalk, simultaneous push from Soju is going to yield another kill and potentially another round unless Zeph can pull off a 1v2. Could get the drop on them by pushing up long, but Sterling is eagle-eyed, looking at the long doors, misses his opportunity. A lot of whiffed up shots this round.
Yeah. A lot of bad positioning and awareness as well. He's really expecting that upper to be on the corner. I think eventually you kind of have to commit to the angle here, Zeph. Giving so much room. Sterling's already rotated around with CT spawn up to Catwalk.
Yeah, this is slim to none opportunity on the side of Zeph. If Avant play it correctly, the round is done. They've got nades. And they've got an AWP trained to the forehead of Zeph. 8-4. That's 8 rounds in a row now. MVP, they just can't get a stranglehold over long at all.
But it's their own fault. It's their own misdoing, right? The constant repicks into the non-flashed opening on Cave when you know they've had operas there for the last 5 rounds. Like, well, what do you expect? Them to not shoot you? Or I just can't get a good grip on it. They get the player down into Cave completely unnoticed, and they don't actually utilize it ever. And yeah, you're not going to win a whole lot of Dust 2 rounds based on the CT side playing that way.
So the pistol by MVP, already being culled. Soju and Jira have chipped in. Stacks again with the Desert Eagle. I mean, he must be hating life right now. He's doing quite the work with the Desert Eagle, but I mean, so many rounds. He's trying to retake from B. It's like, come on, guys. Can you just hold A, please?
Get a couple of frags here and there, maybe. Please. Well, Zion's been able to pick up an AK, so he's going to hold on to that with a light Kevlar. He's invested. Stacks finally goes down. They're doing significant damage. Aegis Gate. Well, his bad day continues. Zion's going to duck out.
With the AK, going to try and save this. One-tap potential on the cards, but, I mean, it does seem like a drop in the bucket with how very poorly this is starting to go for the South Koreans. I mean, whatever happens, Avant are going to have minimum of 9 rounds in their T half.
This is 9 rounds in a row.
9 rounds in a row, and they are far more powerful on the CT side. So it's like their best side is also coming up.
Yeah. I thought we were going to see much more proficient MVP once we saw the first couple of rounds. Zeta having a blinder of the pistol. Just the individuals seem to be starting off at the right foot, right? Instead, it's been horrible positioning over towards long. It's just been, again, we become very much broken records during this Asian minor, but so many of these teams are making the same repeat errors over and over again.
Zion at least going to get them the first kill. It feels like it's the first blood they've picked up in quite some time.
He's actually going to continue with the aggression as well. He's going to hear the rotation going over from Soju as well, so he just might continue on this sprawl. He does, though, too. This is so much information gained. Aegis K gets picked off in spawn, though. Stacks is in very, very open position here.
Zion on the wraparound is able to get one. Stacks, how have he missed that shot? He is going to get the second one. There we go. He's remedying the situation.
Surely they can't drop the ball on this one. Bomb's dropped inside the B bomb site. Eventually he's going to have to try to win out the duel versus Stacks. That's going to give Zeta opportunity to get closer as well. No utility to hold off the Avant player, but that's going to do it. It's not reliable, though, on the side of MVP. There they get really fortunate with the forward push from Zine. Him actually getting an opening frag and then pushing forward on it at the exact moment Soju falls back. Actually, this is a little bit weird. Soju and APOC have actually swapped seats. Not sure what the reasoning for that is, but interesting.
Perhaps allows Jira to ask APOC's opinion. little bit easier. Maybe, I don't know. Based off the monitor positions, you can have a quick look across for potential calls.
Could be based off, again, what kind of positions they play. I'm not sure if they've changed things up, right, since day 1, 2, 3, and so on, or not. We'll see once we swap over to the CT side, I suppose.
It's another first pick for Avant. How many? I'd love to see the stats. It feels like out of these 14 rounds, now 15, but at least 10 of them have been Avant getting the first kill.
It's been a pretty brutal affair, that's for sure.
But can they connect the dots and get a whole bunch more? There is still plenty of Arsenal weaponry to fend off against on the A site, one of which is Zeta's AWP. Does connect the shot. Unfortunately, it's onto Apex leg, so he's still alive and kicking. Molotov's fired to the back of the site, and that Molotov isn't going to be deterred by the smoke. It's actually burning just around it, so Zeta can't get back into position, but Zine is lighting up the scoreboard with headshots with his M4. These are the plays that we were looking out for earlier from MVP. They went eerily quiet, and Sterling 1 on 3. All 3 players have been tagged, but it doesn't matter. Zeph going to claim the last frag of the half, 9-6.
And to give you an idea, I mean, at 9-5, it was 9-5 in opening kills for Avant. So there was definitely correlation. Get the opening kill, win the round. That was pretty much how it went about. But MVP managed to scrape 2 rounds together at the very tail end of the first half. But before we get going with the second half, we're going to have a quick commercial break, but do join us.
MVP started the half in a winning way and closed it out, but still only picking up 6 rounds. And we had a bit of a conversation in the break there, Vendetta, about the opening duels and the opening picks, and you have some interesting stats for us.
I mean, we saw and we talked about it thoroughly throughout the first half. The fact that long was a clear issue for MVP in terms of how they played that out. And again, we talked so much about how opening kills matter in a massive way when it comes to it, and actually just being able to pick up rounds. And that was pretty much true for the nature of this game as well. I think it ends up with being 10 opening kills for Avant in that first half, and they actually end up picking up 9 rounds off of it. And one of the big, really eye-openers is the fact that Zine, one of the guys on MVP who played towards long, was 1-6 in opening duels, which means that he's continuously getting picked off in that area, which again was the most successful part of the map for Avant. It kind of goes hand in hand, and you can tell that MVP did so many mistakes in how they positioned themselves, how they reaggressed after the initial flashes and whatnot, that it's things that proper teams shouldn't be doing, pretty much. Oh, nobody's checking the corner as well.
Oh, no.
Kind of minimal punishment.
The victim of their own success of the flashbang, because Sterling couldn't do anything. He just kind of sat there and hoped for the best, and then once it cleared, oh, there's a guy in my face. Right, well, I guess I'll just headshot him then. As is being forced off the site. Didn't stand his ground, and, well, Zine's going to pick him to pieces. That's a nice P250 headshot.
Fade away.
Of course, it was him that was the hero in the first pistol round, but he's now been vanquished from round 16. Apoc and Soju, 2-on-3. Post-plant. Two of them are situated just behind the site, and the third is on long, which will be Zine.
They do have a diffuse kit as well, but need to find kills rapidly as time spent ticking. Zeph, the veteran, is going to close it out with 2 kills. Yeah, Zeta pretty much being the hero of both pistol rounds so far for MVP, finding some crucial ones to get them off in a timely fashion. But MVP, again, as you said, they started off well, they ended well. It's the whole mid-period of the game that we can't really say too much nice about.
Well, I guess if we're trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, now they don't have to defend long, at least.
Yeah.
Maybe they're better attacking it.
You'd hope so, right? I mean, that's a good start. And Avant got so many good long spawns as well compared to the CT side setup of MVP. And if you don't play off of spawn-based positioning at that stage, you're going to have a pretty rough time for the better part of the half. So we'll see if that comes into the mind of Avant, if they want to play spawn-based or not.
Well, the terrorists clumped up together on long. And first shot in this skirmish is going to go the way of Sterling. Pummel stacks down to just 7 HP. They'll spot a second player. There's enough time, but because they had no mid control, MVP may be a bit weary on coming back outside again. It's going to take them a while before they do make this rotation. They've still got a minute to play with, of course, but they're going to have to make a decision and stick with it. Jira also has been afforded the chance to just look straight up mid. Now bullets are whizzing past him on double doors. The call's going to come through. Plenty of terrorists to choose from. And he has connected twice with the scout kill onto Zeta. A weakened Zeph and Stack's going to try and lumber their way on Catwalk. 38 seconds. It's enough time to get the plant, and nobody's on the site to stop them. But they're still hemorrhaging kills.
Zeph with a very aggressive move on Catwalk. Probably ill-advised at this stage before they even get the bomb plant down, so Catwalk control is lost. Puts a ton more pressure on them. They have gotten the plateau plant, though, so it's going to make the contribution of stacks a whole lot more possible. Peering over the smoke. Not finding anything, and it seems like MVP have learned from their initial mistake. They're just going to hide out and wait for Avant to actually push onto them. They can recognize that there shouldn't be a kit in play.
Oh, another tag. So HSK is going to get out of there, otherwise the bomb will finish him off. And not a bad round for Avant. They're able to take an AK-47 and an SG, plus a scout into the next round. And I mean, if they wanted to, they could actually drop a couple weapons behind this.
They get the better weaponry coming out of that round, weirdly enough. That's not something you see oftentimes, but got to be happy about that. And then second follow-up here by Jira. Through the wall. Very nicely done. Still going to be MVP to pick up the round, and they will have no problems in actually reinvesting. Makan SG picked up for HSK and Zine. And actually, yeah, we're not seeing drops happening for Avant. I'm a little bit surprised by this.
As am I, because Jira had 3.3k. I guess maybe they're just prioritizing the AWP for Sterling. It's like we want to make sure we get a really solid buy rather than kind of roll the dice with a mediocre buy.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with being conservative at this stage. Absolutely.
Signs off on a solo fact-finding mission while the rest of his team push on long once again, but it didn't go particularly well for them last time.
Pretty damn early rotation here from Avant. They've already stacked 4 players over towards a bomb site, and the second one of them leaves towards mid. That's when the pounce happens from MVP. Poor smokes, really bad smokes. Dear God. All right, then.
They smoked the same spot twice. Guys.
They did. They are staying alive, though, and here it is. Zine, with the patient play, is going to win it out for them in the end, but you can't have those mistakes happen. If there's other weapons than USPs and so on out and about, you get punished that much harder. But at the very least, MVP has been able to take both pistols and actually convert on the following rounds as well. That's been the big story here so far for them. Problem is that they only have 9 rounds in total to show for it.
Double ops, though, in play. It's going to be glass cannon on the hands of Sterling. And Jiro with the second, which has been pretty standard over the duration of the lineup.
No flashes into mid. Still not actually going to prevent the... Hello? Flashes, please? Okay.
He knew there was some...
And he swings wide. Okay, there's so much confusing stuff happening, but Soju from window is at least going to do something that's a little bit normal. Once one out his duel as he swings wide, but he's giving up control over the B bomb site. So B retake about to happen, and Soji gets picked off through the fire and flames. What do you do if you're Avant in this scenario? You have 2 smokes and 3 flashes. You can section off rear part of the site. It's a nice pick from Zeta.
We need to go 2 more times. Stacks at the back of the site on the platform. He's going to strike onto Apoc. Sterling 1-on-2, and Zeta connects the shot, and MVP regain the lead.
Everything about that mid take confused me.
Yeah, they heard Jira fire out once, and they just wide-peeked into an AWP. Like, you've got to assume he's going to be still looking there.
Yeah, and then Jira decides to swing wider while he's got obviously the animation after firing a shot going off. So, I don't know, just open season. It's weird. And it's a painful loss for Avant at that. Double op setup doesn't pan out. One of the things that we've seen for them as a part of the turnarounds in a lot of games has been double ops actually having immediate effect. It's not going to be the case today. Zeph with 2 frags. All the echoing players aggressing on long, on catwalk. So just going to get the drop on Zeta though. Doesn't get a weapon for it, but at least some damage done. Has to see if he can drop anyone on the side of MVP from catwalk. That's not to be the case. Zine finds him from the back.
Not much in terms of success in round 20 for Avant, but they're going to have another bye coming up. Already seen them go in for the 2 AWPs. Didn't work out for them whatsoever. Yielded a bomb plant on B. We're going to have the 1 AWP this time around. Sterling does have Kevlar behind it, whereas last time it was the glass cannon. But yeah, again, he hasn't really had the level of impact that we'd be looking for on Dust 2. Maybe this is where he will start to turn it up.
And you can see how much more patient they are on the side of Avant, right? In terms of peeking that corner, not necessarily just giving up frags. No, they have a Molotov down there. Let it do its work. And then you get free long control. Not that hard to do.
The MVP with the passive setup, maybe anticipating some aggressive plays from Avant. We saw a flank from MVP in the form of Zine through long doors that did so much work for MVP when they were on the CT side. Jiro with the smoke down. Gonna have a quick peek over just on the off chance that he can spot a head or 2 rummaging towards the catwalk, but no one's home. The downside here for Avant, though, is they've used all their smokes. They've only got an incendiary and flashbangs left. It's going to be hard to lock out any of these positions now.
Yeah, they might have to rely on actually setting themselves up for flashes to peek aggressively into angles. Molotov goes out. So now it's all about the flashbangs. Sterling with a bit of an off position. Definitely not going to be affected by Molotovs that usually go down by the small box. Oh, the timing, though. Drops off at just the right wrong moment.
That's so rough. That's so rough. HSK and Zine going to capitalize on that, though. Very unfortunate. Maybe a lapse in communication from the team. Didn't necessarily need to move because Long was covered. Jira, though, going to try and be that last bastion of hope. But only good for the 1. 10 seconds to go. More than enough time for the plant. Now Soju, 1-on-3. We've seen him pull him off in the past, but this is a whole different circumstance. He's going to get the first peak going in his favor.
Is he going to dip out, or is he going to go around to long here? He's actually going to decide to hold on to this weapon. Again, that's fair. It doesn't have a defuse kit, so even if you were to find 3, the time it would take, probably not going to leave him with enough to defuse. HSK with that double kill, actually doubling his frag total in the match. He's had a very, very quiet one so far, so the poor timing and luck of Sterling is going to be to the benefit of HSK.
Yeah, well, one man's loss is another's gain. And MVP.
Oh, Zine.
Okay, do you lose Zine? He was at the back of the site, actually, towards Goose.
Yeah. I think he might have just miscalculated how much HP he would take there. That feels like one of the more hopeful safe spots in terms of bomb radius, right? You don't really get too far away from either being in Goose or the top corner there on site. We could have been that afraid of Soju actually just trying to sneak in. He would have been able to see that from the cross of long. I guess at this stage they have been winning out their rounds on the T side here, so money, they have that to spare, but just a bit of a silly mistake as we see a tactical pause.
I mean, from their perspective, they obviously didn't know that Soju didn't have a kit or nades, and he has been very aggressive previously when it comes to clutches. He's a very confident player. He backs himself. So maybe worth sacking a player just to ensure the round goes your way. But yeah, I mean, as you say, it's not as if their T sides have been rough. When they've had rifles, they've done a lot of work. And Avant have an AUG and an MP9 and just a few pistols. So they're really struggling.
They're hurting. Well, this was meant to be their strong side as well. Ooh, okay. Zeph, not typically your opper on the side of MVP. His first contribution is to put a shot into Zeta. They are going up against pistols, though, so might be the worst thing in the world. But they've given up map control again, and they might not be expecting this.
Oh no, they're running straight back into the MP9 and the 5-7 to the grinder. And HSK, try as he may, cannot retrieve the situation, remedy it. The bomb's been dropped out. Zine does get an entry on the B side. I guess the good news for MVP is it's happened in such brisk fashion that they've still got loads of time to play with to try and get back towards the site. But there's going to be another confrontation kicking off with Zine running headfirst into Soju's AUG.
That should at least be an opportunity for Zeta to move closer. He knows Soju was there because he got the third kill. And with him being in T-spawn, that's a bomb retrieved. But, of course, you've got 3 players to find, and you don't really have any sort of relevant information anymore as to where they could be.
In those positions where you probably don't want to smoke the cross because it gives you position away and you can't lock it both sides. You need 2 smokes to lock the cross off. And APOC with the Desert Eagle. We saw him land a couple of beautiful one-taps on the T side, and now he's picking up on the CT side. So the aggression through mid, something that we were highlighting earlier, when they stacked long and had no one watching the mid side, is going to come into play eventually.
Yeah, in most cases you'd have Stacks with an SG being the one peering down in towards double doors, but he would only set himself up in an angle where he could see if people ran in towards lower dark, right? So if anyone were to be aggressive through cat, you have no idea what's going on the map for MVP. And keep in mind what happened in the first half as well. It was a round like this, just an eco round, that won the map, or a pistol buy round, that actually ended up getting Avant off to their streak of runs.
It's not a great Molotov, but APOC straight through the fire and the flames.
How is he still
get 2? What is happening?
How is he getting so much time to just lay waste to people? Nobody reacting to the fact that he's jumped through.
Maybe they just assumed the Molotov would stop the push. I really don't know. No one was watching the back.
He was able to get 30 bullets out. And somehow they still end up in a 2v2 situation on the B-bomb site, so they are favored to actually win this out as well.
Zeph and HSK still have a HE and a flashbang. Molotov has been tossed out from Avant. They need to start getting a move on. Zeph not going to miss with the first, but Sterling not up to the task for the 1v2. Very unfortunate crossfire established, and Avant can't repel it. But yeah, I don't understand what we witnessed in mid. That was such a weird, chaotic round.
Everything that's happening in mid this game so far is not giving us more answers. It's giving me a whole lot more questions. They were just so rocket focused on just being able to get into that B bomb site that just neglected everything else. Apox does everything he can really to set them up for success on the side of Avant, but not enough apparently.
Yeah, that's got to be an extra punch in the stomach though, Ven. The disruption play from APOC, able to get 2 kills and do a ton of damage and change the focus of the T's, and you still lose the round?
Yeah. It's a rough one. At least because you did pick up that eco round earlier, or the pistol buy, then you can have some more money in the bank. Double ops out yet again. It hasn't been as successful though here on this end of Dust 2 as we've seen on the other maps that Avant have played. Haven't been sprung into action just yet either. Sterling's going to be posted up on catwalk. Misses the first shot. Needs to get out of the position as well. Oh, it's a easy shot that Jiro misses there. Haz is going to find the first frag though.
Oh, Jira needs to hold off against multiple angles, has Soju. His brother till the end on B, the flick around. HSK's woken up. He may have had a slow start, but we've been here before. Last time his partner in crime with Zeph. This time it's Zeta, but he's only on 6 HP. APOC going to try and take the initiative, maybe pushing a bit more aggressively than they anticipate. Meanwhile, Sterling's behind him with the AWP. Out he comes, and Zeta with the SG is going to capitalize. Avant's economy in the dumps. They may feel compelled to go for this clutch. And Sterling is going to go the same way through window. And the same fate falls on him, 14-10.
Ouch. Yeah, it's a brawl every time MVP decides to go through mid, but they're somehow able to make it to the bomb site with equal numbers. And at that point, you're always going to be favored on the T side. This time, it's even harder of a case for Avant because they don't really have any utility to help them out, close off sections of the map.
I love that. His only reaction is to push his glasses back up his nose. He's like, yep,
game mode activated.
Just get wrecked.
It's like meme, you know, like I'm about to do a pro gamer move. It's like when you lean forward, right?
Yeah.
He just pushes his glasses up. You know it's game time. It's important for MVP to have HSK going as well. Game leader of the bunch as well. Again, aggressive move from Avant here. Stax has no idea. That's just fortunate timing. He does not know about the one player that's moved past, but in a span of about a second and a half, the entirety of the A bomb site was cleared out by MVP.
Yeah, that was the real culling, wasn't it? Just Jira's remaining. He does have an MP9 and a Desert Eagle. Could be worthwhile in the next round, but I mean, I'm really trying to look at the positives here because MVP on Avant's choice of map have 5 map points.
And it really wasn't looking like this was going to be the outcome of the game. We talked about how Avant have had such lacking T sides. Now they have a blazing one, and it's their CT side to fall apart. And they've had opportunities where they've gotten into double op setups a couple of times, haven't had anything to show for it. And as you can see, it's been no real question as to who the better side has been here in the second half.
Even they've won 1 CT round of Avant. They came through at 9-6. Jira this time is not going to miss, but HSK is right there on point. Looking for another one. At one point, as you highlighted, he was 2 for 16. He's now up to 11 frags. He's really turned his fortunes around.
It's been massive for MVP here at the later stages. Soju doing his damnedest to keep them in this here. 2v4. They made it onto the site. Could potentially get a bomb plant in as well if they're quick about it. This is still doable.
Yeah.
That said, a lot of utility on the side of Avant.
Oh dear. Don't push it one by one. The AWP is going to jump on top of that, but Zeta is going to miss his chance. Zeph now needs to hold on. Sterling is going to give Avant another chance.
Zeta understandably wants to find picks. I feel like once he gets the first one, he can actually be okay playing a 2v3 without necessarily having to thin out the herd before an actual execute comes in. Just try to set up as good of a crossfire as you can with Zeph and hope that one of you actually gets a multi-kill. That should be enough. Much needed round for Avant, though. But I still don't quite understand why MVP wants to get out into mid quickly, but not use the flash to do so. Because it's giving Jira free opportunities to find early frags.
Yeah, maybe worried that it's telegraphing the play and they have in the back of their mind the APOC play through the smoke that's just ringing around like a nightmare.
I don't know, but there's like multiple short flashes that you could throw while running, or you can bank it, you know, do the double bounce and double doors to actually just land it as you run out. But they just hate to do it. And Jira's constantly in a position where he would be 100% blind if they committed to it. So it's a weird one, but I guess they have been picking up rounds, so they feel confident in what they're doing.
Well, this time around, it's going to be catwalk presence. I mean, they have tried spraying through the smokes. They've alerted Avant to their position. Can't really take anything for granted, as that intel has a sell-by date with a minute left.
HSK been one of the big players here for MVP in the last couple of rounds. Smokes go out. We'll see if there's some follow-up flashes here as well. You'd hope so for the position, but the smoke is really good. Yeah, there we go. Flash as well. Sterling's not going to fade off, and that's actually going to be his demise. Zion's coming alive here too now.
There's a slick set play by MVP PK, and that could be the last round of this map. Jira, 1-on-4, 2 players are low, but he's got an AWP, so it doesn't necessarily matter. And to make matters worse, every conceivable angle is being watched. If he comes up this ramp, there are going to be 3 or 4 players with their crosshairs aimed to him. In actual fact, he's going to get flanked. Stax puts the last nail in the coffin, and Avant lose their choice of map 16-11.
Yeah, that's a rough one. We talked about how their CT side has been looking so strong throughout most of the maps here in the minor, and now they pick up 2 rounds. 2 rounds is all they get versus MVP's T side on Dust 2. And it doesn't instill a confidence before we go into Inferno, does it?
No, not at all. I mean, for me, when they won the first half 9-6, I thought that this map was almost a formality.
Yeah.
Because of how well they've been playing on the CT side. The likes of Sterling, so very good on the CT side with Dust 2, or indeed any map at all.
Yeah, and he was gone for the CT side. I mean, he had opportunities where he had ops, but he just couldn't find it. Couldn't find the connections. And we saw more out of Jira, actually, on the CT side. Probably a little bit due to MVP's choice of focusing a lot on middle, but yeah, we needed to see more out of them. I guess things can still turn around, but you do hate to kind of go into the thought that they have to play T-side Inferno. We don't really know how they're going to cope with that. We thought what we saw of Dust 2 might have been a bit of a revelation that at least would have guaranteed them their own map pick, but didn't quite come through in the end.
I think the manner in which they lost as well, like you get 9-6 and you end up getting battered on your CT side. That's got to shake your confidence to its core. But we're going to head back to the desk, guys, and have them break down what we just witnessed on Dust 2.
Let me tell you what we witnessed on Dust 2. You can't roller skate in a buffalo herd.
All right, then.
I'm kidding. Anyway, point being, 2 rounds is not going to be enough at all. It's not even remotely close to what you need to win the game. And that's what we saw in the second half. So tell me about it, Maniac.
Yeah,
run me through the stats here.
No, I'm just checking because I think we have effectively made it to the upside down.
Yeah.
We're in it now. Because we prefaced the game with Avant having a terrible T side. They actually had a very good one. 9-6, stringing 9 rounds together. Open frags for them. Jare was beautiful. Then they switched over to the CT side where they had arguably very good numbers coming to this game. And they crumbled.
Also kind of, I think what they weren't expecting was to see a pretty efficient T-side coming out from MVP. They were really lacking yesterday against Greyhound, and I think that's why they picked Dust 2. They're like, hey guys, we only played it once, and it was like a 14-1 half when we had against 5-Power, but the problem is 5-Power is a very different beast to what MVP can be, and we saw everyone kind of popping off here. Zine had his moments, Zeta on the pistol round, for example, and if you win both the pistol rounds, you're probably going to win the map pretty convincingly.
I mean, we're talking 4 rounds early on for MVP, and this was that series of rounds there from Avant that kind of led me to believe that, hey, you know what, we might have a game on our hands. We might have one that ends up close after all. But then when you flip the page, MVP just runs away with it.
I think Student is absolutely right when he mentions the fact that both pistol rounds were won by MVP, plus the conversion. And it has been an issue for Avant the whole event so far. They have one of the lowest pistol round win rates. That was the case here as well. And then, but you're right to mention, the first half, Avant actually looked great. They identified the weakness, I would call that, on long, and they pressured on it again and again and again. Jira was getting opening frags after opening frags. MVP looked overrun. I feel like MVP was out of breath on that first half. And if you think, if only Avant could have that second pistol, maybe they can just push the momentum. But then MVP just came back. They were stronger. They looked very much in control in that second half.
And especially the B-bomb side, again, they were getting the opening picks, and I felt like Avant City side, if you pointed one thing, which I fell apart from them, was the trade game on the City side was not there. The positions we're holding were kind of one and done spots. We saw a lot of strange mistakes being made, especially by Sterling. We saw a couple of rounds where you're given the op. You need to play that op to the best possible way. I mean, to the best way possible. He's caught out rotating, dying, not being effective enough with the AWP, and that's going to be a problem, especially when you're the primary op on a map like Dust 2 on a CT side.
That's a red card.
You have to have impact.
No, that's a red card. If you're an AWP out there and you're watching the stream, please hear my words. You cannot get caught rotating and repositioning with an AWP. Not after you have spared all that money, you're trying to finally have the money to purchase that AWP, and then you're going to die moving around the map. You can't do that.
But you want to talk about being fiscally responsible. None of that matters now because we're going to Inferno. Things are going to start to look a little bit different here. Dust 2 now over. MVP having found the first map, 16-11. We look at Inferno, and we have to look at it in a way as this is MVP's map pick.
Yeah, and they're undefeated so far in tournament on that particular map, right?
That doesn't really build well, right?
Yeah, they beat FFA pretty convincingly. FFA was, of course, literally a mix, but then they beat Alfred very convincingly as well. I just want to point out that the one thing I would like MVP to fix where when they realized that they had to take a fight, they were kind of being a little too headstrong, I felt like, towards a long area. Dust2 Design lost 8 opening duels.
I could just picture him. It's like, guys, I got it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Round number 4, I got it. Round number 5, guys, it's okay. I got it. I figured it out.
This is the one, I swear.
This time I know how to do it.
It never worked out, and I think that's something they need to. Sometimes you need to adapt.
No,
if
I
you can't
agree.
fight that place, leave it. It's okay. Go for the retake. You know, go for mid-round aggressions and whatnot. I think that's something they need to do. But yeah, Trace, like going to Inferno, it's going to be a problem here.
Again, if you want to think about silver lining for Avant right now, that's this guy right here, Jaira, in-game leader, and I like his attitude. I feel like every time Avant were in struggle, or were struggling rather during that tournament, he was the one putting up the fight, he was the one putting the kills when they needed it, and that's a good sign. Also, he was really good on the T side. They will start on the T side of Inferno, so I think a lot rides on his shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday we got to see him hang around in the connector a little bit.
Right.
We knew what he was
Having
doing
a
in
good
there.
time.
Having a good time, you know. Not sure how far we can go down that road, but nonetheless, there it was. We saw what he had impact-wise. They do stay alive, but for just one more map right here, Avant really needing to turn it around, and this kind of rests on his shoulders.
The problem is the fact that they allowed Nuke through as a deciding map itself doesn't bode quite
Ouch.
well for them. Right? And now going to Inferno, they lost in map pick, and just look at the record there: 19-16 win over 5 power, especially when they were like 14-6.
That's the 14-6, yes.
The 14-6 lead to winning 19-16 does not bode well. They lost very convincingly to Greyhound. That's the only 2 maps that they've played in the past 3 months, or this lineup has played. On the other side, MVP PK have played against Lysa Mouse Sports. Yes, they lost to them, but still, you know, they have played against pretty good competition on that map, and it is the map pick of theirs. So you look at it from any way, Trace, this is not looking good for Avant.
Yeah, I don't see a world where this sandcastle stays on ground much longer. I think it's going to get swept out with the tide, unfortunately. Avant running out of steam, and that's just something we kind of have to face. Now, they could prove us wrong. They could turn it around. There's still a chance. But for all things considered, it's looking pretty dooming.
It does. I mean, if we had to point out one element, I think the pistol rounds are going to be key. You cannot go ahead and lose both pistols again on Inferno. That was the case on Dust2. That could make the difference. And to me, the bright surprise on the side of MVP so far is Zeta. I didn't really know that player before that tournament, to be honest.
Okay.
But I like the way he plays with the AWP. I like in clutch. His movement, he seems like he has an understanding of the game. And if that's the case again on Inferno, well, it's going to be GG.
Yeah, it could be GG. Is this going to be GG right now, Blay?
It's going to be GG right now. Calling it.
Okay, easy as that. What we're going to do is call it where it is. We're going to be going to a break. When we come back, we do have Inferno action with Vendetta and Vents. They're going to be taking it back over. And we're going to jump right into the game without any further ado. So be right here when we come back.
Charge up your game with excitement. Highest odds on the market. Coverage of all live and pre-match events. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG.bet.
Predict the outcome, win the game. Get live coverage and schedules for your favorite tournaments. Analyze, predict, and vote to gain points. Compete with other esports fans and climb the leaderboards. Strafe, everything esports. Download now on
MVP now will be traversing to their choice of map, one map to the good. In what will be one of these two teams' final game on the road to the major, one team is going home.
Yeah, a lot on the line for obviously both sides here. More so maybe Avant at this stage of the game than MVP. So they've got a little bit of a cushion here, but yeah, lose, go home. It's pretty much how it, or what it comes down to. And winning here also guarantees you, obviously, a top 3 placement, which means that you, at the very worst, will be at the play-in stages for the major. So you're still going to be within a chance. And I think for a team like MVP, this has added pressure because now that you finally end up in an Asian minor where Renegades are nowhere around, that's probably going to be your best chance of ever qualifying for a major, at least in the current makeup of things, because while they were, well, for quite some time, I guess the clear-cut number 2 team in the region, that was when still Renegades had to go through minors. And with how it is, I mean, with how much improvement we're seeing out of teams like Greyhound and so on, it's just going to become gradually harder and harder.
Well, we're going to be kicking off Inferno, MVP on the T side, Avant on the counter-terrorists, and Apox already going to take the initiative, pushing into Apps with Stacks, just peering across, hell of a headshot, gets him in midair. Zion's just going to bypass Sterling. This is all about getting round the back of the counter-terrorist, catching him off guard, catching him unawares. He's got an intel mission for the rest of his team, and now that Sterling's gone down, they're going to have no idea about this.
That is so sneaky. He puts a lot of faith in his teammates as well. Let's see if he can actually find something for it.
He's already on the site.
There you go.
Soji's probably just jumped out his chair in surprise. That's a proper jump scare moment. Apoc, though, is going to try and return the favor, but now he's given his position away, and Zeph drills into his head. Surgical precision with the USP. Avant, 2v4 against them. What a sneaky round this ended up being.
I really like it from Zion. Normally, you'd see players let him go past, and once you see that there's not a follow-up, there's not going to be 2 players coming through, you take that kill for yourself and move about with your day. You just put so much trust into Zeph finding that kill and Sterling. Retake here. More or less impossible for Hazard at this stage. No defuse kit, 3 players to find. Okay, that's 1. Kid is in front of him, but Zion's just going to wide swing and end all of his hopes and dreams of winning the pistol round. So MVP are perfect now. 3 pistol rounds, 3 to their name, and 3 possibilities.
A wry smile across the coach's face. Understandably, when so much is on the line and you've just lost the pistol with the terrorists looking to try and make amends, make the most of it. Yeah, and Zion's showing a lot of respect and trust to his teammates, letting that first player go past, calling it, and then just moving on with his business.
Please deal with this.
Yeah, because if they end up getting killed by the player that pushed past him, that actually throws the round in a really awkward position for MVP.
It really does.
Oh, those nades have just shredded MVP. Stacks and Zeta have shrapnel buried deep all over them.
And it was meant to go the other way around because there was a missed nade from MVP there that was meant to land in the opening of the B bomb site. That would have definitely done a fair chunk of damage to the CTs. That botches, and instead it's MVP to get the brunt of the hit. Well, actually, just the entirety of it. Jir is the only one who's taken damage so far on Avant with a single point of damage. There's still plenty of utility here as well on the side of Avant. This is really scary for MVP. They don't have the time necessarily to wait this out.
That flash thrown in speculatively just to see if any player would spray out, expecting a push to try and gain intel. Nothing was forthcoming, but now they're seeing Zeph have a quick peek, and they're going to decide to turn away here and run back towards the A slide. And Avant haven't budged an inch. They're going to be running into a 3-player stack MVP with 3 players who have been tagged. They have no more grenades to play with. There's a smoke planted down. This is going to be so very brutal, but Stone's gone down to the hands of Stacks. Meanwhile, Jira with a P250 trying to hold on for dear life. And it looked like MVP were about to slip over and faceplant, but instead, they've somehow weathered the storm.
Somehow, we saw Sterling wanting to put down the same smoke that did so much work for him last time they played Inferno, which is 5 power, right? He survived for the better part of 15 seconds on the side, doing a lot of damage and eventually making sure that Avant could win at the round like that. One of the players just slipping by the smoke, being able to find him immediately, sends everything out of control So MVP get away with a bit of a scary situation there. Them only losing stacks is a bit of a miracle on that site take. Was that I wanted to get the most value out of his SMG. He's going to go down for his troubles. 3 players survive.
Well, the MAC-10 at least will still have some use. They can drop that to one of their teammates if they don't want to fully buy behind these 2 saved Deagles, which you don't really expect them to. That would be a pretty huge error in judgment.
I mean, we've seen,
Yeah,
seen it happen a couple of
things.
times.
Yeah, true.
I think 5-Power having the most dastardly buys at times might be one of the reasons why they're not here at this stage. Nonetheless, though, Avant probably going to have to sit this one out, hoping to do at least some damage. But they haven't gone for a massive stack of any sort. It's going to be the nades down, and Zeta once more being the recipient. We'll see how eager MVP are in actually putting pressure on this B bomb site, knowing how many nades that flew down and all that.
Yeah, in fairness to Avant, they have a very good nade placement, nearly getting kills in both the previous rounds. Now Zeta down to 16. They did manage to just about mitigate the stack on the round prior. Now it's nowhere near as much of a powerful buy and no utility to speak of on the counter-terror side of things.
Yeah. Needs to go out on the side of MVP, as you like to see.
Entries coming in. Hazza, the only player once again with his Desert Eagle, but all 4 of MVP have been tagged.
Heavily as well.
Battle won at this stage. Now the question is, do Avant know it? Because if they do, I mean, they may very well just go all in. I mean, to be fair, they don't really have much to save anyway, so you may as well just throw caution to the wind.
Have a go at it, see where it takes you. She wants to work with a Deagle instead of USP. Seems like everyone's set up, just waiting for MVP to actually move out of the bomb site. Soju definitely in a spot to actually do significant damage with the ZZ. Oh, and I don't get this from Sterling, why he would rotate around. That makes no sense.
I mean, if you've only got a P250, like, you basically have nothing to save
nothing for you, yeah. It's not like they have SMGs on the side of MVP either, so...
1 HP for Zeta. Lucky boy.
That could have been so much economic damage on the side of MVP. Instead, they have 2 rounds where so much damage has been inflicted on them, but they stay alive.
Of course, they don't have the benefit of being able to see like the HP, but still, you got P250 and a CZ. Neither of those are really going to be that relevant in this round when you've got AWPs and M4s. So most teams, I feel like, set up for exit frags and try and choke out the terrorists and see just how much damage they can do.
Especially when you set up for that long. Sterling never really wanted to move closer to the B bomb site, which is fair. I mean, hold off in CT spawn, see what comes running your way. It's the same thing Soju did, but he then backs off when the bomb is about to go off, when Soju hasn't seen anything at the bottom of Banana. That just doesn't add up.
I mean, maybe a call had come through that there was a rifle.
Hello?
Yeah, he's just got wrecked again. Maybe a call came through that there was a rifle somewhere around Banana that they're trying to retrieve. I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of.
Who knows? Zeta took 1 step forward and all of a sudden lost the majority of his HP to the Molotov.
He was the same player that got wrecked in the last round. I think it was 16 HP from grenades.
3 rounds in a row now where he's gone down to, I think, below 25 HP off of that. He's not loving life. But they're not losing rounds, so... Well, he's having a bit of a rough time of it. MVP gotten off to a hot start. Again, it's heavy focus on Banana. They give up so much map control while doing this as well. Feels very, very risky. New Molotov goes down. It's going to do a ton of damage. 2 kills. Zeta's still alive. He's not going to play with that. Posted up outside of Banana. Shots through the smoke, not going to connect. Bomb goes down. So retake scenario started.
Flashbang designated to allow Jira to peek out of guard and see if he can have a quick spot on new box where Stacks currently is with the SG.
Oh,
the Molotov right below him. He has to come out into the open. If he got a kill from that, it would have been huge, but the trades are going in favor of the CTs. It's all down to Zeta. He started off the round getting obliterated by grenades. He has got a fortunate headshot through the smoke, but the bomb's been defused. It's a full 10-second defuse. Jira doesn't have a kit. Peek back in again from Zeta, and the clutches MVP PKs. The South Koreans have done it again.
Oh, man. Zeta starts off the round with 6 HP, ends it with 6 HP, but has managed to pick up two kills in the swing of it. Not bad at all. And you can see how much utility damage Avant are able to do pretty much every single round. Just 2 Molotov kills. You've burnt Zeta down to 6 HP. You also forced Stacks out of position again with the Molotov that you had back to new boxes. So now, I mean, you've had so many prime positions for you to actually do significant damage, and you're not able to land the shots. That's a worrying sign, though. Normally, it's negligible. You know, it's not that big of a difference, that big of a factor whether or not you're going to land a crazy amount of utility damage. But if you're not able to capitalize of it that much of an advantage you have,
I think
a little bit worried.
I think APOC nearly got 200 damage worth from that Molotov.
Yeah.
They both just burnt alive in the middle of it.
No assists on it either.
Yeah, so unless he also got a HE or a couple of shots from his M4, but even with that being the case, they still concede the round. They concede a 1v2 against a 6 HP Zeta, who, make no mistake, played it perfectly, but there's going to be some questions now for Avant. And again, it's their CT side, which is proving to be a little bit of a banana peel. Just the one smoke in play. That's in the hands of Soju, who's positioned just outside of the A site.
MVP being spread out a little bit more this time. Zeta still going to find the opener. Has it to go down in Banana.